To him will I give power over the nations.
Here, this is what Christ said. Christ said, the same power that I have, if you're a co-inheritor, I'm going to give you power over the nation. If it's for everyone, it's telling you you're going to rule over the nation, right? So if it's for all nations, how can you rule over? All nations is ruling over all nations. Makes no sense. That's Christianity.
Revelation chapter 2 verse 26. And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations.
Do what?
And he shall rule them.
He shall what?
Rule them.
So watch this. Remember the verse that we were reading before that? He said he's going to put all authority, all that rule right now, he's going to put them under his feet. Who is that? God's law. See, that's how rude they are. I said, I got your question. If you could only be patient and disciplined, because we deal with order here. You understand?
That's
we
right.
deal with order. I know you think you got white privilege where you can just step in and say, I have a question. Black man, I have a question. No. I'm dealing with my people.
Bring it on.
That's who I'm sent for first and foremost.
To him will I give power over the nations.
Here, this is what Christ said. Christ said, the same power that I have, if you're a co-inheritor, I'm going to give you power over the nations. Go ahead. Say that again?
It doesn't say if you're a co-inheritor. What do you mean by that?
Co-inheritor, when you read in Romans, what Christ inherited, the 12 tribes, which are the sons of God, they're destined to inherit the same thing.
That's right.
The same thing.
That's
Read that again?
That's a free gift for everyone.
Revelation chapter 2.
So watch this. If it's for everyone, it's telling you you're going to rule over the nations, right? So if it's for all nations, how can you rule over? All nations is ruling over all nations. Makes no sense. That's Christianity.
Revelation chapter 2 verse 26. And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations.
Do what?
And he shall rule them.
He shall what?
Rule them.
So watch this. Remember the verse that we were reading before that? He said he's going to put all authority, all that rule right now, he's going to put them under his feet. Who is that? Black people. Are black people putting forth laws in the earth today?
Yes, I think all races.
What laws? I'm talking about racist laws that affect our people. It's not, because I'll give you an example, right? I'll give you an example. Homosexuality in Africa, right?
It's starting to become popular.
It's starting to become popular. Who is pushing it? Who is pushing it all over the earth?
I wouldn't particularize on any race because the devil works through every race.
Okay.
Like, end of story.
Okay, I'll take that point. The devil rules is everything. Okay, I'll take that point. There's a main race who is ruling the earth today, who is putting forth laws that they say if you people in Africa, you don't abide by our democracy, by our sanctions, by our laws, then we will put sanctions on you. Bruh, which nation is that? America. Like I was watching an interview, for example, Obama, right? That's why I'm aware of what you said about every race. Obama was the first black president, but he didn't do nothing for black people. Right. Matter of fact, he was trying to push homosexuality in Africa.
Right.
So that's why I can't roll what you're saying, every race. But there's a main race in the Bible that their job is to go against whatever God said. God said man and women, they say no. Now let's make laws so that man and man or women and women. Which race is that? It's not the Arabs, it's not Africans, it's the so-called white man. It's the European nations.
Right.
So again, everything is upside down right now. So when Christ returns, God's laws is what's going to be kept.
Let me ask you a question.
God's laws. See, that's how rude they are. I said, I got your question. If you could only be patient and disciplined, because we deal with order here. You understand? We deal with order. I know you think you got white privilege where you can just step in and say, I have a question. Black man, I have a question. No, I'm dealing with my people. That's who I'm sent for first and foremost.
What it seems like to me is like it's kind of a blend between like this cultural Marxism with the gospel. It's like you're using language that's strong for cultural Marxism, combined with the gospel, and it kind of just like
you gotta enlighten me.
It devalues the gospel.
You gotta enlighten me a little bit when you say cultural Marxism.
Cultural Marxism, like white privilege, the concept of white privilege. Like I understand it as a concept, and it could be valid, but it's just language that's not drawn from the gospel.
But that's reality. Watch this. That's reality. You understand? That's reality.
We're not called to preach the gospel of cultural Marxism.
No, it's not. It's not.
The gospel of Christ.
Right, the gospel of Christ. It's not cultural Marxism because
using language drawn from other narratives that aren't the gospel.
Watch this. In the time of Christ, who was ruling in the time of Christ? Herod, the Romans. What nationality?
When I said everyone, this guy's like, well, see what it's like.
All
nations are going to be ruling
white. That's who they are. That's who they were. Believe it or not, whatever happened 2,000 years ago in the time of Herod, in the time of the Romans, it's the same thing today. It's the same people that's ruling. You understand? The reason why I'm making a point of white privilege is because that's literally how they look at us. They look at us like they're entitled to us having to answer to them. You understand? That's why I said, I got you. I didn't say I'm not going to answer your question because you're white. I didn't say that. I said, I got you. Well, I got a question. That's rude. That's word manner. I understand word manner. Because guess what? My job, when we come out here, the Bible says to be at peace with all men. That's right. We were answering a Caucasian man earlier. You might not be black. You might have a question. If we have time, like, yo, don't worry, I got you. You understand? It's all about respect. You understand? That's what I'm saying. And I understand your point about cultural Marxism, but our job is to make this Bible bring it into reality. Because the same way the children of Israel were oppressed under the Romans over 2,000 years ago, guess what? We're still oppressed in 2024. That's reality. You understand? And guess what? White privilege is one of the reasons. That's just reality. But finish that. Revelation 2.
The book of Revelation, chapter 2 and verse 27. And he shall rule them.
He shall rule the nations outside. You know how I know that it's talking about the nations outside of the nation of Israel? God said that the children of Israel will be scattered throughout all nations. Right? So the children of Israel in this, like today, are they in rulership? They're not. The people in the land of Israel today, they're not the real children of Israel. My sister. Français. Qu'est-ce qu'on enseigne? C'est que selon tu es d'où? Du Congo. Selon la Bible, nous sommes les 12 tribus d'Israël. C'est vrai? Le peuple du Congo, c'était prophétisé qu'on allait aller en esclavage. Tu comprends? On allait en esclavage. My bro. Let me finish that before you go.
Revelation chapter 2 verse 27. And he shall rule them with a rod of iron, as the vessels of a potter shall they be broken.
The nations that decide we're not going to keep God's commandments, they're going to be broken. They're going like the same way, right? How do you think Africa, which is a black continent, why everywhere in Africa, you ask them who is that?
But this I don't agree with at all, because you're talking about, so this is, are you saying like you prefer it to be this way? You're not supposed to have any images at all?
No, we're not supposed to have images to worship them.
No, you're not supposed to have images at all. It says make no images, make no similitude of anything on the earth or in heaven or in the sea.
That's why you got to put it in context. Did God not tell Solomon to make images to put in the temple? Cherubims? Exactly, that's what I'm saying. You got to put it in perspective. We're not supposed to have images to worship them. When you read in the scriptures, we had images in our Bible. You know how we know that? The heathen would go into our Bibles. Read this.
So this says that the image of the beast.
Yes, this is a false
whiteness applied to Christ, applied to Mary, applied to depictions of Christ white. That's what you're saying. The image of the beast.
No, when you read in the Bible, it talks about the image of the beast. It said our people were killed. When you read Revelation 13 and verse 15, it said they were killed if they did not accept this image.
But it's a prophecy in the future.
It's a prophecy in the future that actually came to pass. You understand? Were we not killed if we did not accept this in slavery? Yes, that's an historical fact. Our people in Africa, the First Nations, if they did not accept this image as Jesus Christ, they were killed.
Right.
You understand? Now watch this.
But this image only, I mean, the depictions of Jesus Christ were much later, after the first century, when Revelation was written. Revelation was written in the first century. There was no depictions of Christ until the Gnostics.
That's why you said it's a future prophecy. You understand? But watch this. Even before that, the Greeks, before the Romans came into power, who was in power?
The Greeks.
The Greeks, the Greco-Roman Empire. It tells you under the time of the Maccabees. Read this there. Watch this.
The book of First Maccabees, chapter 3 and verse 48.
Ça c'est pas Jésus-Christ. Ok? Jésus-Christ n'a jamais été blanc. La Bible dit comme un homme noir. Listen to this, bro.
And laid open the book of the law.
And laid open the scriptures, the book of the law. Go ahead.
Wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images.
So they opened our books, and guess what? They saw the images, and that's what they tried to do. The same thing that 1400 years later, under the time of the Renaissance, iconoclasm. The same thing that you see right here. So our scriptures used to have images. You understand? Let's prove that. Isaiah 3 and 4. Iconoclasm. This is what it is.
Yeah.
In the Renaissance era. You understand? That's what iconoclasm is. A person who destroys religious images or opposes their veneration. When you go, like, we don't bring these books here because, you know, things go crazy. We don't want the books to get damaged. There's expensive books where you can look them up, Russian icons, you understand? Where the images before the Renaissance era, it was all black people. Right. Christ, Christians, the prophets, God, the angels, they were all black until the Renaissance era when
only thing, I mean, the reason why I say the images could be some most black people.
That's what Renaissance means. It means rebirth. Rebirth of what? Rebirth of Caucasian in power. You understand? This image came in what?
That wasn't all the Renaissance about. It was about bringing back classical culture, the Greek, Roman culture.
European culture. And that Christianity that they brought.
Europeans to begin with. Right? Renaissance was a European movement.
You're right. That's what I said. It's European culture.
So what do you mean by rebirth? If it starts as European,
rebirth because Rome fell in 193 AD. Right? Rome fell in 193 AD at the hands of a black man, Septimus Severus. So now, why did they call it the Renaissance era, which is the rebirth of who? The rebirth of Rome in power. You understand? And this time they had Spain, they had France, they had Portugal. You understand? The Pope that was writing the laws, the edicts, the papal bulls to put the children of Israel in slavery. Guess what? That was the rebirth of the Roman Catholic Church in power. And then that image came about around the same time. Caesar Borgia. You understand? In the 1400s. Watch this.
The book of Hosea, chapter 3 and verse 4.
Bring it out.
For the children of Israel shall abide many days without a king.
Without a king? Because we were going to slavery.
And without a prince.
Without a prince. Why? Because we were going to slavery.
And without an image.
And without a what?
An image.
And without an image. You understand? That's our state being enslaved. The Bible says we will not have any image. We used to have images. The point is you're not supposed to worship them. So for example, you see how this depiction of Christ, we're not bowing down to that. The Bible says don't do that. You understand? But we understand that we used to have imagery. And Caucasians understand also that we used to have imagery. That's why they change our imagery. You understand? That's why, remember what I asked? I said, why is it that you go to Africa, everywhere you go to Africa, a black country, this is where they worship. This is where they worship. And if they did not want to worship that, guess what happened? They were killed. That's the image of the beast according to the Bible. Right.
What is a nation? Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is you.